He's wears many hats: director, producer, writer. He's produced about 29 works and directed about 15 works, including films, series, and documentary films. His films have been acclaimed and awarded at festivals worldwide, including at Cannes and Toronto festivals, and include Udan, Lutera, Bhavish Joshi Superhero, Trapped, Sacred Games, the series, Jubilee, and his new animation documentary, Indira's Emergency, which is on this festival, in this Jio Mami Mumbai Film Festival, and he's on the board of this festival as well. Please give him a big hand welcoming him. Thank you. Mustafa Sarwar Farooqi. None of these people really need an introduction, but I'm just mentioning for younger people in the audience who may not be familiar with their work. He is director, producer, writer. He's directed about 26 works, produced about 13 works, including films and series, which are also acclaimed, awarded at top festivals worldwide. Television was one of his films, which was a closing film at the Busan Festival. He made Do No Bed of Roses with our very beloved late Irfan Khan. He made No Man's Land, Bangladesh, US, Australia collaboration, co-production. Made a series, a very strong, powerful feminist series, Ladies and Gentlemen. And he made now something like an autobiography, which played at Busan and is here at the Jio Mami Mumbai Film Festival. Please give him a warm welcome. I'd like to mention here his wonderful, wonderful actress, star wife, Nusrat Imroz Tisha, who is also here at our festival. I don't know if she's here at the audience thought. She's also here with, she's also the star of Mujib, the Making of a Nation by Sham Benegal, and big release opening this week. And also, I mean, they have had a long relationship, working relationship with India, which we can also explore later. And then comes Prasanna Vithanage, very senior director. He is director, producer, writer from Sri Lanka. He has a body of work of about 11 films acclaimed at top festivals worldwide, including, you have to, I apologize if I mispronounce, but I really want to own it in the original language, Purahanda Kaluara, Death on a Full Moon Day, Ira Madiyama, August Sun, Akasha Kusum, Flowers of the Sky, Oba Natua, Oba Ekka, With You, Without You, which is a lot of his films are Indo-Sri Lankan co-productions, Silence in the Courts, Her, Him, The Other, Gadi, Children of the Sun, and now Paradise, fresh from its win of the Kim Ji-seok Award at the Busan Film Festival, and now at the Jio Mami Mumbai Film Festival. Very, very, very interesting. Again, a collaboration between Sri Lanka, India, and the US. So very interesting how they are, all of our neighbors are expanding their markets and finding new audiences. He's always been very inventive and resourceful. And not only does he have a US producer, but it was also presented by Madras Talkies. So many, many feathers in his hat. Please give him a warm welcome. We have Gurvinder Singh, who has a body of about 6 films which are acclaimed and awarded at top festivals worldwide, including Cannes and Venice, including Anhe Goreda Dan, Arms for a Blind Horse, Chauthi Koot, Fourth Direction, Khanor, Bitter Chestnut, Ad Chanini Raat, Crescent Night, and now his new documentary, Trolley Times, on the farmers' protest movement, which is currently showing at the Jio Mami Film Festival. Please give him a very warm welcome. And Nabin Subadai from Nepal. He's director and writer of about 15 works, including Nmacc, Goodbye Kathmandu, a very popular series Dalan on Dalit issues, and now Gao Aiko Bato, A Road to a Village, that had a triple whammy. It was at the Toronto Film Festival, TIFF, it was at Busan, and now at the Jio Mami Film Festival. Please give him a very big hand. This is wonderful. I would also like to acknowledge, I think there should be in the audience, his Hong Kong-based producer, Amod Rai. Will you please stand up and, yeah, we'd like to know who you are. Thank you. Pashupati Rai, lead actress, is she here? Please stand up. We'd like to welcome you. And anyone else from the team. All the other team members who are here also for joining us. Thank you very much. So a couple of key questions that I will request each of the filmmakers to reflect on. I think I'd like to ask them a few, 2 or 3 films that were the most successful in their careers or were the most awful, horrific failures, how they dealt with those challenges, what lessons they learned. I would like to ask them how they found their producers, I would like them to acknowledge the producers' names because very often producers are nowhere on the scene when there are awards being given. They're not always on stage. We don't know their names, but they enable their careers. They often take risks. I'd like them to acknowledge some of them. I'd like you to reflect on share us a little about how you found your distributors and your audiences in your home countries, in India, overseas, what you learned from those lessons, lessons learned from them, and also to name your distributors. So we also would like to acknowledge them. And also the challenges of making films in our neighboring countries, which is quite different from the challenges of making films in India. And you'll find them. And the last is what, what guidance would you give young filmmakers in the audience? So, Vikramaditya Motwane. That's a lot.
Oh, yeah, all of those together.
Just flow, yeah. I mean, just flow and then, everyone can respond.
Oh, okay, I think experiences in terms of, I'll just go with first and most recent because I think so Udan was my first film, which was produced by Anurag, as most people know, but
So, Anurag Kashyap,
Anurag
of course.
Sorry, Kashyap. There's only two of them anyway. So Anurag, I mean, we've known each other for a while. I helped him on Panch. I was directing his songs and his sounds. We both worked together on Deepa Mehta's Water, actually, which is where we met for the first time and became good friends and have always been bouncing stuff off each other. So Anurag, this is after Devdi released. I was kind of struggling to find a producer, and Devdi releases. Anurag gets a lot of phone calls about, do you want to produce anything? And he says, yes, there's this film that I've read that I really want to produce, and that's how it happened. So it was Anurag and it was Sanjay Singh who put the money in, was also the co-producer. Interesting personality, yeah, I will say. No, I have to say, you do meet producers, or they call themselves producers. You do meet financiers who want to invest in films, and for whatever reason they want to do it. Sometimes it's to see their name up in lights or whatever it is. But that doesn't bother me as long as I think they're investing in the movies. I think that's the important thing. I think the ambition of a producer is today the most important thing for filmmakers because that's the only thing that actually helps indie films kind of get along. UTV Spotboy came on board to distribute that, and I really have to sort of like thank them for that because it was a moment in time when this is now 13 years ago where I think that there was a genuine push to have that Indian cinema kind of be seen by a local audience and an international audience. I think we've lost a bit of that along the way, which we can, of course, that's a day-long discussion as to why that's happened. Um, so yes, thank you to all of them for Udan, and it also continues to be in a not in a financial sense, but I think in an emotional sense and in a sense of legacy, my biggest success because I still have people coming up to me today to talk about how much the film means to them. So that's the first. Then Indira's Emergency being the most recent, where it's been something that's been a struggle to make because it's a documentary, it's archival, it's something we started off doing 3-4 years ago. We had backing, and then the backing backed out because it's political, and so therefore people kind of get scared, and you're like, no, let's just finish this. And I finished the cuts, and I approached Samir and I at Applause, and he loved it, and Applause and Samir decided to back it. So thanks to them, and some of the team is sitting right here. So thanks to them for really coming on board to end up finishing something which has become a rarity in today's world. It's I think there's a lot of
Can you tell
wonderful
us,
films.
sorry, can you tell us a little about it? Because I'm not sure everyone has seen it and it's
Oh,
deeply political and very daring. So tell us a little about the
so
film.
Indira's Emergency is it's actually started off as a three-part series which we wanted to make about the emergency, which with only archival footage and with some animation to fill in the gaps of the moments that I think were very very important and as to why they got made. So it's something that I was kind of steadfast to say I don't want to do a talking heads docu. I wanted to do something with archival, something with phone calls that we've had speaking to people and have animation fill in those. Yeah, as I said. So the version screening at Mami is a film version, which has sort of made the 3 episodes into 3 chapters. But it is yes, it's a pretty in depth, almost kind of pop culture-ish sort of like look at the emergency in a sense of like what would you do if you had to sort of like really put someone who had either no clue about it to just sit down and watch it and be almost, I mean, borderline entertained for about an hour because it is a very entertaining period in India's history if you have to see it from that lens. When you the 50 years I think helps us sort of look at it from a slightly entertaining perspective. But also, it's a great deep dive for people who are history buffs, who have a, which is exactly what I was when I was like, okay, I want to make this. And the more research we did, we got into it. It was wonderful. So please, it's screening on the third at Regal if anyone wants to go see it.
Thank you for sharing that. We could, of course, have questions, I think, a little later after we have a first round, and we would really welcome that as well. Farooqida, please. You want me to, you kind of, actually, it's really about your career journeys and a few key
I
points.
actually forgot the questions because I was so sincerely listening to Vikramaditya. Yeah, I mean, it happens. I forgot the question paper. Oh, I mean, okay, let me try to remember what was the question. Okay, so I started my career. Well, I mean, I start with what are the challenges in Bangladesh. So the biggest challenge is actually India. India, as in like, yeah, yeah, we know that India is a big filmmaking country, and so because of Indian filmmaking, like two kind of filmmaking. One is Bollywood, and the other one is Kolkata art house. So yeah, I mean, in Bangladesh, people only know that okay, this can be called cinema if it looks like either any of the Bollywood films or any of Satyajit Ray films. So I mean, this was dangerous, but I think we are post 90s generation. So we grew up after. I mean, there was a big, I mean, kind of people's revolution in 90, and after that we started to look for our identity. Like I mean, well, I mean, India is our neighbor. They are our friends, but we are not Indians. We have our own way of expressing our emotions. I mean, our own way of telling our stories. Then why don't we have this in our cinema? And then we started telling stories on television. Television, as in like for series and whatever, with 200,000 taka budget. I mean, like a shoestring. But then this really helped us. I mean, it helped us grow a huge young audience in Bangladesh. I'm just a filmmaker. I don't deserve this, but you know, if I go out on the street